Hello, good evening, class of 83. Another Go Knuckle Talk with Flo, and of course, my co-host Lisa Nolan Hafner. Hello.
Hi, Michael.
Hey, we're gonna have another great show tonight, so let's get to it. Who's gonna be
Yes,
our guest tonight?
tonight is a very special show. We've had a lot of levity and fun and funny conversations over the past shows that we've done. Tonight's show is a little bit more serious. It's about cancer survivors. I am one as well. And we're going to try to bring some levity and lightness to it, but it's a lot of public service announcement. And we're really, really thankful to our special guests who've agreed to come on board and share their stories and to be authentic and vulnerable with us. And I really appreciate that as well as Michael, because it's a hard thing to talk about if you've been through it. And we did have another guest, Derek Smith, who was going to join us, but he was not able to join us this evening. So without further ado, please welcome Wendy Stone and MyLinda Morales. Hi, Wendy.
Hey,
Hey,
Lisa.
Wendy.
Hi, Michael.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are y'all doing?
How we
Good.
doing?
Wendy,
Good.
I love that you smile all the time. I love that
Do you?
about you. Yeah. Your smile makes me smile.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, I do smile a lot. I try. It hides the inner turmoil that I go through from time to time. And so whenever life gets hard, I just smile and it makes it all better.
Amen, sister. That's my thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because
As
if you
we're
can't
waiting,
change it, if you can't change it, you might as well go through it with a smile.
That's right.
absolutely. As we're waiting for Melinda, you're from Oklahoma City?
Yeah, Midwest City. It's
Okay.
a suburb. It's kind of like Seth Ward was to us. It's just on the outside of the city. I'm not quite amongst all the crazy madness and stuff like that, but it's getting close. Everybody's starting to, you know, blend
Encroach.
together. Seems like. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi,
Every time I turn
Melinda.
around,
Hi there.
Hey,
there
Or
you go.
Melinda.
Hi, sister.
namaste, y'all.
Yeah,
Namaste.
yes, for sure. Oh my
So,
gosh.
Melinda, where are you located?
I'm just outside of Orlando.
Okay. Now you guys have a huge mumps breakout, right?
No,
Oh,
me.
do we?
That's-
Is it the
In
mumps or the
Florida?
measles?
I think
One of the
I think
two.
it's the measles. One of the
Okay,
two.
measles.
I think
One
measles. I think it's
one of the M's.
Yeah, it's
So,
the measles.
okay. Well, hey, it hasn't affected you. That's a good thing.
No,
yes.
because
Yes.
what
So-
happens, what it is that we in our generation, our parents, it gave us shots. We were immunized. You know, we
Is
got
that
the
that
shot.
little
We got
thing
the-
on top?
yeah,
That
yeah,
little,
we got that scar shot, whatever.
yeah.
But kids these days, they don't immunize their kids, and I think it's kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
because I know that there's a lot of things that we are injecting in our body that we're not aware of, and that the things that it can cause. But at the same time, if they didn't change things up, then it didn't kill us. You know, we made it through. And I don't remember ever getting them. Maybe the chicken pox, but not the measles or the mumps. I don't believe. Did y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
think
got them, but
chicken pox.
I think that they had been basically by the year 2000, measles had kind of been eradicated, and it slowly started to make these childhood diseases are making a comeback, just specifically because of what you talked about. I mean, but
Yeah.
I had pretty much been eradicated in the U.S.
Okay.
Anyway, so girls, I want to tell you, I when we did the intro, while you were in the waiting room, I made a statement about how Michael and I really appreciate your willingness to come and do this show with us. As a fellow cancer survivor, you know, it's a serious subject. And all the previous shows have had so much levity to them, and hopefully we have some light moments here. But more than anything, I think it's important to talk about our journeys so that we encourage other people to go to the doctor and get checkups and that sort of thing. So this is
Absolutely.
kind of like a public service announcement for our class. And, we're
Yeah.
all of a certain age now. And the other thing is, thank you for your vulnerability to be willing to talk about your experience and your journey. So I'm going to just start off right off the bat, and I'm going to ask the same question to both of you. And you can, MyLinda, if you want to go first. So how has or did your cancer diagnosis affect you and your family?
Once I had diagnosis, our lives came to a screeching halt. So it affected my family deeply. It was a little bit when COVID was still around, so there was a lot of isolation. So we became more isolated, and so I was not able to see my sisters and my brother and my father very often, and that felt even more cut off, and it added to the distance. But honestly, as soon as I went to the ER with some pain, and about 12 hours later was pretty sure that I had ovarian cancer. So from that moment on, that day, it changed our life profoundly. Our lives then moved around various doctor's appointments and surgeries and treatment plans. So it affected in that way, in a very physical way, but it also deepened all of my relationships as well, because we have some pretty serious things we're dealing with now, and time feels like it's of the essence. And so it deepened my relationships. It deepened my own internal communications. It deepened the way I look at life. I had 2 yoga studios and pretty busy, and all of that came to a screeching halt. I had to decide, were we going to stay open? What are we going to do with the 2 studios? Because I don't have the energy or the time to put into them. So we pretty much decided that if the community still wanted yoga, that the community was going to step up. And they did, the teachers did, and the students did. And I'm just very grateful. But that would not have happened otherwise, because I am a worker and I am a control freak and I like things just so. And cancer taught me how to let things go and to let people help me. So that's how it's changed my life tremendously.
I hear some little bits of miracle angles in there. Yes, and I'm so glad that you were able to extrapolate that experience and bring some positivity to it. So, darling, it's your turn to answer that question.
Okay, well, unlike MyLinda, mine, my area down there has been closed up for years, so I don't have to worry about that. Mine is at the other end. Mine was at the top. I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't have any pain. I didn't have any knots. I had no indication whatsoever. We don't have it in our family. There's no history of it or anything. I was coming upon my 57th birthday, and I had went to, I had changed insurance, so I was going to a different doctor. And she asked me, she said, "When's your last mammogram?" And I said, "I've never had one." And she said, "What?" She said, "You're fixing to be 57 years old and you've never had a mammogram?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And she said, "I'm going to schedule you for a mammogram." I said, "Okay, fine. Is it going to hurt?" And she said, "No." She said, "Things have changed tremendously since, the time that it did hurt versus today's date. It doesn't hurt. It's a little uncomfortable, but it doesn't hurt." I said, "Okay." So I went in and I had a mammogram, and it was just crazy because I had to go back to the doctor on my birthday. So when I turned 57 years old, I was told I had breast cancer. I
Wow.
only had it in one of my breasts, and it was close to the top. And so it just kind of like MyLinda, you just everything starts going real fast. Um, you want it to go fast because you want that out of your body as fast as you can possibly get it. Um, you you question yourself, or I did. Well, was it my lifestyle? Well, shoulda, woulda, coulda. And it's like, no, I'm not going to let Satan take control of my thoughts and bring on fear and bring on worry, because I felt like if I did that, I was going to get sicker. I was going to not only be physically sick, I was going to be mentally sick. And so I got in there, and trust me, I got the best oncologist and I got the best surgeon, and they took me in there, and it just, everything just started bam, bam, bam. I go in there and they said, well, you have a mutating gene. I said, I have a what? And they said, yeah, it's a mutating gene. It will attack your breast and it will attack your ovaries. And so I said, okay, so what do we do? And they said, well, there's two things you can do. You can go in and you can just have that one spot removed, and we have to let you know that chances are great it coming back, and or it can go to your other breast. And I said, well, I am 57 years old. My kid's dad is no longer living. Take these bubbies off of me. I don't want them on my body. I want them off. And I said, as far as the ovaries and stuff, take them too. Take everything that you think that this mutating gene is going to attack other than my heart, and you take it out of me. And they said, okay. And it went from, I didn't realize that what I had said was almost like a death warrant, because whenever I started chemo, good Lord of mercy, I had to go in and surgically have a port put in my chest, because as much as they poke you with needles, your veins cannot withstand that. So you have to be inserted with a port where they can just go in there and stick you one time, and they can do everything they need to do. Draw blood, give you chemo, whatever you need. They do it through that port, which I was grateful for that. But I think then, after coming with terms with having breast cancer, I then had to come to terms with, I'm going to lose my hair. And you guys, I had hair and down to the middle of my
Too.
back.
Me too.
And
So did
it was,
MyLinda.
yeah,
Mhm.
it was long, it was heavy, and it was straight. And I mean, granted, I had to wear it up all the time because it was so heavy and it was so hot that it was long. And because my grandkids didn't want me to ever cut it. So I thought, okay, whatever. My second treatment, I went into the bathroom. I was washing my face. I ran my hand through my hair, and a whole handful of hair came out. And I thought, holy crap, here we go. And so I brushed and more came out. I brushed and more came out. So my daughter, she's not only a counselor, school counselor, but she went to, when she was in high school, she went to be a cosmetologist. So I called her and I said, come over here. And she said, well, which would be better? Would you be better just watching it fall out so you can process it? Or do you want me to come over and cut it all off? I said, come over and cut it all off. I have anxiety whenever I run my hand through my hair or brush my hair, the amount of hair that's coming out. And I said, it's giving me an anxiety attack because I don't like that. And so she said, okay, I'm on my way. And so she came over here, and I wanted to cry, but I thought, you know what? Everybody says it's just hair. It's just hair. It'll grow back. It'll grow back. And I thought, okay. My biggest fear. It was whenever I was bald, I was always afraid my head was gonna have craters or big old big old bumps, you know. That's what my fear was. I was thinking, man, I hope I don't have one of them egg-shaped heads, or you know, 'cause I couldn't have handled that. I'd had to wear a cap because that was what was going through my head was, oh my God, what if I had a funny shaped head? What if I have a big old wart and I didn't know it because my hair was so thick and long? And so anyway, come to find out I didn't. My head was okay. Um and it's kind of like MyLinda, mine was during that COVID time. So we had to wear masks every time I stepped into the hospital. It was mask. And you couldn't take it off to talk to people. You couldn't take it off to do anything. And that I hated that because it was so hot and I was miserable and I just wanted to breathe. And so COVID on top of cancer just did not mix well with me. And the one true blessing that made me feel better about losing all my hair was that my grandson stepped up and he shaved his head as well. And
Oh,
he had long hair too. He was my long-haired hippie. And I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yep, I'm doing it." And I said, "Oh my God." So my daughter video cameraed him getting his hair shaved off, and that right there was enough for me to say I'm ready to fight, not only for myself, but for my grandkids, because if he's willing to do that for me, then that's telling me that I mean something to him. So I'm just talking out. Y'all see,
well, no, hey, Wendy,
y'all
God,
should have let me
I
go
mean,
half.
Wendy, God bless you. I mean, that
Yes.
was pretty strong of you to make those two decisions, especially the double vasectomy. I mean,
Yeah,
wow,
I
wow.
yeah, and they gave me the option where I could go. They left enough skin on my chest, which is weird looking, but to where they said, "Oh, you can do reconstructive surgery. You can go back in there and you can get you some boobies." And I said, "No, I don't want them because I don't need them no more. You know, I'd rather just, I don't have to buy no more bras. I don't have to worry about boob sweat. You know, I'm good. I am good. I'm all right now. So I've come to grips with it. Now, when my grandkids see me with my shirt off, that kind of freaks them out. But one of my youngest granddaughters, she's turning 12. Well, she is 12, and she thinks she's getting boobs. And I say, well, maybe. I said, but mine are bigger than yours. And she said, well, side fat don't count, Grandma. And I was like, hey, they had to leave that on there. They had to leave that on there in case I wanted boobs. But I thought, I don't see how women can do that. Cause I mean, God, that's gotta be painful. Cause I don't know. I was in so much pain afterwards, and them having to put those tubes. I had tubes in me with drain bags that I had to drain and record every morning and every night. So twice a day I had to record the amount of blood I was releasing from my body, from my. So the less blood, then I was getting closer to being healing up inside. And so, but yeah, those drain things, those were a pain because it was hard to sleep with them. I went to the movie theater, got one stuck in the chair.
Oh, jeez.
And didn't know it until And so I went to go get up and I felt the tug and I thought, oh, let's sit back down. And yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. And I was so happy when I got those out. And I felt like once I got those out, I thought I'm on the road to recovery. And
Yay.
yeah,
Yes.
and I have went back since, and I'm still clear. So this is my second year. Praise the Lord.
Yay.
Good
And I,
job. Good
Yay.
job.
Yay.
yes, and
Wow.
I don't smoke cigarettes no more, which I thought that was going to be the toughest thing in my life because you guys, I smoked for 43 years, and
Uh,
I only smoked a pack a day, and I say only, but because there are other people that smoke more, but a pack a day for 43 years, that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of smoke. And so I thought this is going to be so hard because I have tried to quit before, and I couldn't do it. I mentally and physically couldn't do it. It was just the hardest thing. I used to drink. Quitting alcohol, quitting drugs was so easy. But smoking, I thought I just can't kick it. I'm just gonna have to smoke till the day I die. But it seemed like when someone tells you, looks you in the eye and tells you you've got cancer, you just bought your last pack of cigarettes and you don't have no problem putting them puppies down, or at least I didn't. And I didn't crave them. Now every now and again I do, but it goes away real quick. And I didn't realize that when my mom and my non-smoking family members say, "Oh, you stink. Oh, you smell like cigarettes," that I didn't realize that it stunk as bad as it stinks. And
yeah.
from now that I'm a non-smoker and someone comes around me that has been smoking, it's very overwhelming. And it's like, God, and I smelled like that for 43 years that I won't pick them up again. I mean, there's really at this point no reason. And then the fact that they're almost $10 a pack, get that.
I'm
Couldn't
so
do it.
proud of you, Wendy. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
Quitting
you.
smoking is super hard, and you
Yes,
go,
it is.
girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if I can just do that with the weight that I've put on because I don't smoke, I'd be all right. But I'm talking to my friends. There's my mom, y'all.
Hi, Mom.
Hello. Hello.
Uh,
Michael, do you have a question for
no,
the girls?
Yeah. Well, before I start with the question, I wanted just to make sure that our classmates know that MyLinda Morales did not graduate with us. She did, though live in Plainview and went to school. So what year did you move to Amarillo? Because some people might not recognize you. That's why I'm bringing this up.
More than likely. I went to Coronado. So what was that? The 7th grade? I think that was
Yes.
7th grade.
Yeah.
Yes. I moved that
Yeah.
year. Uh-huh.
yeah.
So, we had before I had to ask a question, we had the twirlers on the about a week ago or two. We talked about, I think Jeannie got pelted with tomatoes and a hot dog was thrown me. I think it was Amarillo Sandy's who did that. They threw a hot
Really?
dog and no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But my
What?
question, ladies, is
I didn't know that.
what is a typical day with you guys now? Because MyLinda, you've been through chemotherapy. So what is it for you guys now? What's your typical day now? I know it's had to change. MyLinda?
Yes. Well, it has, but not really. For the last probably 40 years, I've been a pretty avid exerciser. So I was excited to get back to working out. But I worked out my whole chemotherapy. I didn't work out as hard, but I did do things to try to help get that medicine and
We
toxicity out
watched
of me.
you do the chair exercises and stuff and the wall exercises. I watched you. Yes, you're such an inspiration. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I did. I just try to keep moving and,
Yes.
you get some endorphins, you get a little bit of, try to break up the chemotherapy some and
Yep.
all the fog that comes on. So I still I started doing started doing Tai Chi a little bit before chemotherapy. So I still enjoy Tai Chi, and then I do some physical therapy exercises, and then I do my yoga, and then I usually have breakfast, and I like to go for a walk or do something additional. And then I start working, and I might work from about 10 a.m. Throughout the
And
day. We
you
have
like breaking
classes.
your legs.
I broke my legs, yes, on a bike
Oh yeah,
twice.
that's right. Because you're gonna
Yep.
come to our reunion.
I
And
was.
your brother, but you had that accident. That's
I
right.
did.
Yep.
So I'm
You
so
did.
active that I broke my leg. I 1 year right after chemo, I broke my right leg, and then the next year, about a year later, I broke my left leg. So I've broken both of my
Wow,
legs in
geez.
the last 2 years. So I'm just so happy to be walking. I don't have a walker or a crutch or a wheelchair or anything.
Good job.
So my day, but there's a lot more mindfulness. I don't work as hard as I used to. And it's hard not to, because that's so ingrained in me to work hard and to take on a lot of responsibility. But that came back over and over in chemotherapy. I just felt like there was so much I still wanted to experience and so much I wanted to share in life. And I didn't really want to spend most of that working, even though I find a great enjoyment from it. But I like to have some downtime, and I like to spend time introspecting. And my husband took early retirement to help take care of me during chemotherapy. So he's retired now, and so we hang out a lot. We do a lot of things together. So
Good.
that's my day. It's pretty much the last class is about 8 in the evening, and so I'm still online in case I need to help out with anything, or you know check somebody in or do this or that. So I have a long day, but I really enjoy it.
That's
Good.
wonderful. I always
Yeah.
tell people that cancer is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
You very quickly hone in what's really critical and important, and you
Absolutely.
very quickly let go of everything that you thought was a big deal. It's like, that is so insignificant in my life.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yes.
What kind of
At the
cancer
end
did you have, Lisa?
So I had cervical cancer when I was 23 years old, and I had uterine cancer when I was 37 years old.
Okay.
So I'm like you, Wendy. I'm like, take everything that
Yeah.
is not needed for me. Yeah. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
when I had cervical cancer, I did 15 months of treatment, and for me, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my family. I went through it completely alone. I kept working, and I just handled it, and I just,
How
you
did
know, I
you
thought,
work through chemotherapy? That is
I don't know.
draining.
You have a level of strength and resilience. I think when you're
Yeah.
still that young, when you're young, you have a lot of in the yoga world we call it ojas, our vitality, our life force. We still used to have a lot of that. But when I was 37, they caught it early enough. I just had, when I say a radical hysterectomy, literally like they had to like take body parts out of my body to do a cleanup, because they removed everything, the
Everything.
cancer. They
Yeah.
removed every margin. Yeah, I mean the doctor quote said, "We did an excavation of your body cavity." He said it was everywhere, but thankfully they got all the margins, and I did not have chemo. And I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for that.
Good.
Yes, super grateful. But it was still, when you have that extensive of a surgery, you're opened up from hip bone to hip bone. It's a
Yep.
long recovery,
Yep.
and there's a sense of, this was on the heels of going through fertility and getting pregnant and losing a baby. So the idea that, okay, I lost my baby on January 28th of 2002, and I had my hysterectomy on January 28th, 2003, a year to the date. So the loss of a child and the loss of the ability to have a child was supremely impactful to
Yep.
and some therapy to process the grief.
Yep.
It was like a double-edged grief, and that was all piled up with September 11th and my grandmother
Yep.
died. A lot of stuff happened during that time, and so I learned all about PTSD during that
Yeah.
time.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, what doesn't break you makes you stronger. I know that's a
Absolutely.
cliche, but it is
No,
true
that's
that
true. It
you
really
find
is.
your inner strength.
That's
And
right.
and just very quickly, and then that's the last thing I'll say about myself. The way cancer changed me was that it made me a lot more. I was already practicing yoga, but it made me more conscious and deliberate in my life. And I knew very shortly thereafter that I was going to leave the corporate world, and that my mission was to serve others, to help people, especially women, fall in love with themselves, to recognize their power. And my modalities were through personal training and yoga. Melinda and I have this in common. And I've just been a one woman mission, you know, to help people begin their own journey to healing, whether it's
Yeah,
physical, psychological, trauma, whatever, just because life is very short and it's very precious, and
absolutely.
cancer teaches us that.
Exactly. Hey, is that a note to yourself back there on your mirror?
So yes, that's a note to myself that's called my Dharma code. And I look at it every day, and it reminds me, uh, of who I am and what I'm supposed to do. Do you want me to share it with you?
Please. That would be awesome. Yes.
I
Go for it.
step into into my power with confidence and strength. I courageously seek out opportunities that provide me with stability, abundance, freedom, and fulfillment. Reminded of my divinity, I give myself love, nurturing, and safety.
That's
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Amen.
Nice.
It
Yeah.
is.
So
That's
Did you
beautiful.
write that, or do you
no,
find
that's
this?
those are my words. No, I wrote that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
I wrote
Wow.
that.
You.
It's my guiding light every day. So
Yeah.
this is my home studio. I have another studio in another part of town. So yeah, it's my guidepost. It really is.
Yeah. Well, we all need an encouraging word first thing in the mornings for sure.
Absolutely.
Get us
Absolutely.
out the door. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Michael?
Well,
Oh, what? Yeah.
no, it's okay.
Yeah.
What is one thing you wish you knew before you started your treatment? I mean, like, in other words, if like the chemo, I understand it's draining. Did you expect that, or that I just blindsided you? So what?
There's
Wendy?
when you do chemo, there's nothing that you can do, take, say, anything that's going to make that better, because it is a poisoning entering your body, killing another poison. So you're basically just slowly killing your cells, your good cells and your bad cells. And I think that's why it is so draining, is because you're trying to fight uh, with very low cells, white cells and red cells. Um, and so you don't have no energy. So there's really nothing you could do going into it. You know, my surgeon and my oncologist both told me that what they call the red devil, which was my first, I think 6 treatments, uh, was the red devil. And that's the one that is the toughest and the strongest on your body. Because that's where you lose your hair, you lose your appetite, you lose your taste, you lose everything. And so you can't prepare for that. You just have to go with the flow, you know? You just have to take it as it comes and hope that you can, because you can't taste nothing, and so you don't know. You're just going by knowing what you knew before, that tastes good, but then it usually doesn't. So you lose your appetite. I drank a lot of uh not oh, it wasn't Pedialyte, but it was
It,
electrolyte. You
mm,
know, I drank a lot of that, and I tried to take vitamins if they would stay down. So you really can't prepare yourself for anything like that. It's just a life-changing event that happens, and you just have to take it minute by minute. And then that goes into day by day. And then the next phase, it was a little different in the next phase. It wasn't so hard on me, but it made me so tired. All I wanted to do was sleep. And then I would sleep, and then my body would hurt because I stayed in bed for so long. But then I'd be too tired or too weak to get up and move around as much. Um, so the positive on that was that after I started taking the second rounds of treatment, the next day I would go in and get a steroid shot. And man, that would make me feel so good. I mean, I could come home and I could get everything done I needed to get done because I knew for the next 5 days I was going to be down. And that's usually what happened. I'd get that steroid shot on a Saturday, and come Monday, I was dragging my butt. But luckily, I work for a company that I've worked for 24 years, and they're like my brothers, and they helped me, and they were with me. They watched over me. They made sure that, I was okay. They didn't hardly let me do nothing, and because they wanted to make sure that I was going to be okay. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for them. And had it not been for them and my sisters and my mom, it would, and my kids, I don't know if I would have made it. You know what I mean? I really don't, because you have to have that support system. And Lisa, I don't know how you did it, darling, without anybody helping you along, but you're one brave soul doing that by yourself, because you needed that. And I think that the angels were from heaven were surrounding you because you were by yourself, because I don't think otherwise anybody should go through this by themselves, because this is not like a broken arm, or it's not like a broken leg where you have to suffer on your own. You need your support system, because you do get depressed, and it gets dark. It gets really, really dark. And so you have to have somebody to tell you it's okay. It's tomorrow's another day. And so I think that's why I smile all the time, because tomorrow's another day,
Yes.
stay.
Absolutely.
So, and life is short. Life is really short. And it's I feel like it's getting shorter because of the meanness and the things that are going on in the world, that, I don't go out after dark. I mean, I just don't. Safety is a real issue in big towns, drive-bys are crazy around here. I don't know about where you guys live, but yeah, it's just, so you cherish every bit of time you have with your family, your friends, your loved ones, and it's important to let other people know you love them. And that way, when something does happen to you, you can leave this world and know that you love them, and that you told them on a regular basis,
For sure. And you get that love back. So
Yeah,
MyLinda,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, and Wendy, yes, in hindsight, hindsight is 2020.
Yep.
You're not very smart when you're 23.
Nope. No.
I know
You can
now.
say
I
that
needed.
again.
I know now. I needed a support system.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah. But so MyLinda, what's been your biggest self-discovery revelation since your diagnosis,
Goodness.
since your cancer journey?
Gosh, there's just so many. I have these ovarian cancer support groups, and the women that are older that have been 20 and 30 years remission, they're able to say, this was the best thing that happened to me, because they, it woke them up to life and what's important. And they became stronger. They realized that they had strength and they did amazing things. I'm not ready to say this was the best thing that happened to me, but I will say there's a lot of gifts that I would not have otherwise. I'm just starting to get to that point where I see my strength. Like, I've just been in hunker down survival mode and I'm coming out of that. But I'm starting to look back and go, wow, I did that. Like, I did it. I did all the steps and I faced all these fears and I went to the razor's edge and I did all that. I would like people to know that they're survivors and we're all survivors here. And this is something that we can do. We can. My mother died of cancer 30 years ago. So when I heard cancer, I was like, I'm gone. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, you get cancer and you die. That's what my thought form was that. And especially ovarian cancer. Yeah, right. I never knew anyone that survived ovarian cancer either. So I just thought, that's it. It's this big, huge thing, and it's going to take me. And so what I really want to express is that we can survive cancer, and technology has advanced, science has advanced so much in this area. And we have so many things going for us, and even all the natural remedies. Like, I never had, I never got nausea. I never got nauseous. I never threw up, but I also had a lot of supplementation and holistic help with that. And I think there's the two can really meld together and help. So what happened from what I got mainly from it was that life really is wonderful and it's meant to do much, much more than just work, that we can do hard things. We do hard things every day, and we can do the big ones that even maybe took other people in our lives that maybe, we have not seen that happen before, but we can do that. And I think that's so empowering. I just remember being in chemotherapy and knowing that the chemo was going through my veins. And I just have to really, if I feel like something's taking me over and poisoning me, it weakens me personally.
Yeah.
So I would just think that, okay, some cells are dying and they're leaving, and I'm going to bless them as they leave. But the cells that are going to come back and start being born, I want those to be born with my strength. And I was very intentional, like these new cells, I want them to be strong and encouraging and comforting and aware. And so I would just have those visualizations. I would spend all day. My chemotherapy took from 7:30 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. So all day long I was there. And I just really try to keep that in my mind about I'm creating a healthier me. My hair, beautiful long hair left. And I was like, that's my old energy. And the new hair that comes in, this is my new sassy energy. Look how curly it came back. This is my new sassy energy. Chemo curls, right?
It's like, oh my God, can't do a darn thing with it.
So yeah, we can do this. And there's a lot of us now, there's survivors. And I really want to spread that message that we can do this. And, I would like to just make that one plug for early detection is the best thing that we can do. And while that might be scary, please, I just know where I came from. We avoided the doctor big time. We didn't want to hear bad news. And I still had that with my cancer. I didn't want to do that. And I'm still kind of kicking and screaming, but it is the best way that we can fight this thing is with early detection. And so please get checked out. I do all so colonoscopy, skin test, mammogram, everything, like every single way that you can get a cancer is now being tested regularly.
I poop in a box. I poop in a box. I don't do the colonoscopy. I can't have no rod.
TMI.
Is it a kitty litter box?
Yeah, can you imagine having that job, seeing that coming through the mail? You're thinking, holy crap, that's been in the mail for 3 days.
Oh, hey, let me tell you a funny joke. Who's that? He's an actor. He was in one of those doctor shows. George Clooney, real quick.
Oh,
Is he, when he was a starting actor, he stayed at a friend's house. Well, he would take his cat's poop and throw them away. So his friend, his roommate, thought that the cat was having issues. So he would take him to the doctor, to the vet, and it's like the vet says, "What are you doing? He's fine. He's fine. It's your cat's fine." So one day George took a big old dump in the litter box. So his roommate came in and goes, "Oh shit, this the cat took a huge dump." True story. Sorry, it's a very true story.
I would have laughed.
Oh, Michael.
I would have laughed if it had some peanut M&Ms in it or something. That would've been
Exactly. Ladies, October is breast cancer
Breast
awareness,
cancer
right?
awareness.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
are you guys, and do you guys get involved in that when
we have a marathon, and no, I have not because the first year I couldn't, and then no, but I want to. I really do. I also want to tell people that have that mammogram, really, it doesn't hurt. And most insurance takes it, can cover it. And if it's a wellness check, most of the insurance will cover that. But yeah, it's such a big marathon, walkathon. I guess you can run it or walk it, but we have a big one up here in the city for that.
is it that Susan G. Komen? Is that her name?
Susan B. Komen.
Susan B.
Yeah.
Komen. Is it that?
And you can walk or run it. Yeah.
Right.
And you
What
can
about you,
go,
Melinda?
you can
So
go. Go ahead.
September is ovarian cancer awareness month, the month right before, and then October,
Okay.
my mother had breast cancer. So all of the fall is like very nostalgic to me and empowering. I was invited to go and help out, but I broke my leg, so last year I couldn't go. But I'm on committees now to do that, so I'm hoping that this year, to be an integral part of it, I would like to help out with the walk and awareness and things like that. So I do stay active with my groups here, and I'm hoping to share more of my love of yoga and healing and meditation with I did therapy my whole time during chemotherapy, and I could not have gotten by without it because I needed someone to talk to. And it's a lot to lay on your caretakers. Like caretakers,
Yeah.
they're worth their weight in gold. It's hard on them, So I had a therapist to talk to and just talk about all my fears and, facing death and facing these, the end of life, if that's what's going to happen. So I'm very much into all levels of healing, the psychological, the physical, the emotional, the mental.
It's really important. That's part of that support system that Wendy was talking about.
Yeah.
It's not just your family. There is a thing as caregiver burnout.
Yes.
And because here's what people don't understand is that Wendy, you're a mom. Melinda, I don't think you have children, right? I don't have kids either. But when somebody that you love suffers, you're suffering with them. So if it's your spouse or your husband, your spouse or your children or your mother or whatever, they may not be going through the physical pain, but they're suffering too.
Yeah.
They are.
And so it is important to have that support system, like going to therapy, going to a counselor, somebody that is not related to you, who's objective and trained to deal with those emotions, to guide you on this journey of processing what you're experiencing. Because in one fell swoop, all it says, you have cancer, your mortality is right in front of you, front and center.
Right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you dodge it, it's following you, like a Zoom camera. And there's no getting around that. And our families and friends and loved ones are not trained counselors. Well, your daughter is, but they're not equipped, and they're suffering too. They sometimes need therapy as well to provide you the adequate and proper support so that your needs are met and there isn't, conflict and tension, because everybody's afraid, terrified of, your diagnosis has a ripple effect.
Right. I
Mhm,
think
mhm.
the best thing that could happen to me was not understanding the big words. All I understood was I have cancer, and the rest of it was just a blur because everything was, 15 letters long. And, you know, there were sometimes I was curious about what they were talking about, and sometimes I think I didn't want to know, you know. You just take care of me. You know what's best for me, and I'm leaning on you to get me through this. And like I said, I did have the best oncologist and surgeon and they were both women, and they they let me cry, lean, and talk through a lot of my feelings that I didn't with my family. Um, I wanted to feel I didn't want the fear coming into my family, into my kids, even though that my two daughters, uh, they did have to go through the $400 genetic testing. It's like BRCA. I, somebody that's out there knows more, like Ginger Billington. She probably can tell you about that type of cancer. Uh, but it can be obviously it can be passed down. The
Mhm.
generations before me was I don't guess was aware of it. I know my grandma didn't have it, my mom didn't have it, so I don't know where along my tree someone had it that I wound up, and it could have came from my dad's side of the family. I don't know, um, but um, I needed that. See, here's a brain fart. I forgot where I was going.
Chemo brain,
Yeah,
chemo brain.
it's the
It's a
same.
real thing.
It really is. It really is.
Mhm.
But no, you just you I don't know, was we on the support? Hell, I don't know where I was at. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, um, yeah, I mean, I did lean a lot on my doctors. But the generic part of it, I guess, affects, it'll affect my family from here on out. My daughters both had to take it. Thank God. Thank Praise the Lord. They don't have it, but they need
Yay.
to still. I made them go immediately and get mammograms, which they did anyway, but I made them go do it again. And um, they did that testing. And then I make sure that whenever I'm due for a mammogram, they are due for one. I said, whether it's your time or not, just make sure you make an appointment to do so. Because I don't know if it's going to show up on them. It showed up on me at 57 years old. I mean, who knew? I sure didn't. I thought smoking or drinking or my wild days were going to take me out. I never thought cancer was going to be in my life and be in my world. And here it at 57 years old, there you are. And so, yeah, you need to definitely go to your doctors. Even if you don't, like I said, I had no symptoms. I had no lumps, no bumps, no pain, nothing. And so it was just there. And so um, you don't necessarily have to feel that bump, you know. I know a lot of girls or a lot of women do the self exam in the shower. Even if I had done that, I still wouldn't have probably felt it.
Right.
And so it's really important that you go to your doctor.
Well,
Yes.
Wendy, I'm
Yeah.
glad. Go ahead. Go ahead,
I
Lisa.
just I just wanted to say this message is also for men. Men need to get
Yes.
checked.
Oh,
Men can get breast
absolutely.
cancer, and they
Yes.
need to go and get their prostate checked, and
Yes.
they need to have a colonoscopy because men,
Yeah.
I think women are better about going to the doctor, but men not so much.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
this service, this
There has to
okay.
be something wrong with
I went.
men.
I had my colonoscopy last year, and it was my 5th year, and then now I can wait another 10 years. So, oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yay!
I've got 3 kids still. I mean, my son's 24, but I got still 2 young daughters who are 14 and 16.
Yeah.
I still want to be around to watch them graduate. And I'm not a
And be a
grandparent.
grandparent. Yeah.
So I'm
you-
not
you
there
wanna
yet.
be a
Those girls better not make me a grandparent. Hell
Whatever.
no.
Whatever.
But
they-
you know, I'm glad you, Wendy. I'm glad you brought up your daughters doing it. And so Lisa and MyLinda, because what you guys went through, your husbands or other close family, are you making them, or are they voluntarily going to the doctor and having themselves
Yes.
check up?
Yes.
Because what you guys went through. Now, so
Yes.
that tells me, I guess they didn't do it until what happened to you guys, and now they're doing it, or were they doing it the whole time?
So
No,
mine still
since-
have not. I have not been able to persuade them. So
Oh, okay.
unfortunately, yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah. I think it's fear. I think I understand
it
it,
is.
but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
not good for us. It's not good. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, I have to push. I have to be a little bit of a nag.
Yeah.
Yeah, still. I don't know
Well,
what it
you
is.
guys keep pushing, you know?
And Mike will tell you that I nag at him too.
That's
Well,
good.
I do.
I mean, if
my-
you, there's nothing inviting about a rod going in places that are that's an outie and not an innie. But not to mention that stuff you got to drink beforehand.
Oh
before
yeah.
you- yeah,
It's
before you
gotten
get
better
to-
though. It's
Has
gotten
it gotten
better.
better?
Oh yeah,
Has
the
it?
last one, it was I just drank one thing, and that was it.
Really?
And yeah, it's not those like
big
3
gallon thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh God.
I mean,
Oh,
Great.
wow. That's good. That's good to know. So,
so
see, you guys,
absolutely.
there's no reason for you not to get it done if there's
Yeah.
the gallons have went away.
Absolutely. You know, what still hurts though is you get sore down there after several
You don't want to cough.
shit. I'm not gonna say it after several shit. It gets
You don't wanna
damn
cough.
sore.
You don't
Oh
want
my
to cough for a
gosh.
couple of days.
You know, ladies, I just want to say this: cancer is a son of a bitch, and
Yeah.
no one is protected.
Nope.
Just this morning, Olivia Munn, who's an actress, she posted on her Instagram that she is diagnosed with breast cancer. So again, cancer doesn't give, if I may say, they don't give a fuck who you are. They're going to
Right.
attack
No.
you, whoever
Absolutely.
you are. And
That's right.
again, as you ladies say, man, get to the doctor, get to your annual
And-
checkups.
And I say prayers for Derek's grandson. You know, he's going through something, and Precious, he's so precious, a little boy. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I can't imagine. And I cringe and cry, and my heartstrings, you know, pull whenever I see those cancer commercials for the little kids. You know, the St. Jude commercials. You know, it's awful. So yeah, cancer does not have. It doesn't matter who you are. You know, and
not
how old you are, male, female, you know, young or old. And that's what's sad. And everybody, you know, you come across something on Facebook or Instagram or something, what would be the one thing if you had a wish you would change in the world? You know, that would be my wish, would be that cancer wasn't even a thing, you know, because it's awful. I mean, it's hard to go through. And you see the changes. You know, I think back at like Patrick Swayze. Remember how, you know, in Dirty Dancing, how hot and good looking he was and how he could dance. But then there at the end, when you seen him, he was just a bag of bones, you know. It's just awful. So yeah, that would be that one thing that didn't have to come into the world would be cancer. That and fat people.
Oh gosh, Wendy, you crack me up.
Ah,
So
dang.
MyLinda, is there any advice that you would give to others going through cancer?
Oh goodness. So I think I hit on it earlier, but that there's a lot more survivors than we're aware of. it's kind of like a plane crash. We think planes crash all the time, but actually very few percentage of planes actually crash, you know. So we just hear about them more, and we just tend to
Right.
focus in on them because they seem tragic. But there's a lot of survivors, and there's a lot of people that when I went ahead and went public with my cancer treatment, because for one, my hair was going to fall out and people were going
Yep.
to see me eventually, and I would have to take a hiatus. And so I just went ahead and announced it. But I just have to say, so many people reached out to me that I had no idea had had a cancer before. And so I was just really mind blown on how many people have gone through cancer and survived. And so all of that, every time I heard about someone, it would just encourage me more and more and make me feel more hopeful. So that's what I would mainly say, is that, you know, we've made great strides with this. And yes, it is still a very challenging illness. And it does still claim lives, but we really have just made huge advantages. I would say for me, because I was all day, you know, living with this and working with this, it consumed my life and my husband's life. And whenever people would say, "Hey, stay strong, be strong," I just wanted to just collapse,
Something
because,
in the forehead.
well, kind of, if I were that kind, I probably would, because that's all I'm doing every day, all day, is being strong. You know, I'm exhausted from being strong. So I
Right.
think it's done in a really kind way. I think what they're saying is, I'm sending you strength. I think what they're saying is like, you know, you're in the battle. And so I would just maybe think about, rather than telling people to be strong and to keep fighting, just to send them a lot of comfort. I'm thinking about you, sending you a lot of comfort. You know, I'm just every day hoping that, praying that you're doing well, rather than be strong. Well, I have
Or,
no choice these days.
right.
Right.
Or
That's
what
great
can
advice.
I
Great
do? What,
advice.
yeah, what can I do? What can I do for you today? You know,
Yeah.
I can't take away what you're going through, but if there's anything that you need or anything that you can think of that I could possibly make your day go better, tell me. I'll do my best to make sure that I, you know, fulfill your need or your want, you know. Because we can't take away the sickness, but we can make that one task, you know, helpful, and, you know, to take a little bit of the stress off of you.
Mhm.
Mine was, my mother lives with me, and mine was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to cook her meals or cook her breakfast, you know, and be able to smell the bacon or the eggs or whatever. And then that's where my sisters came in. You know, they came down and they helped me um, go, you know, get through that, because I wasn't gonna be able to stand long enough to fry no eggs. But yeah, just I'm on Facebook. We're in a group that's the breast cancer group, and some things are sad and some things are very uplifting. And so it's what you can do for that person at that moment, because you can't take it away from them. You want to, you know, you want to pray for the healing, uh, but that's between God and you know. If
Yeah.
You
he's
know,
ready to call you home, then he's going to take you home. If he's going to heal you, then he's going to heal you.
the one thing I would say about you
So,
ladies is you guys are brave, very brave, because you two, three, I mean, at least how old were you when you had your second cancer?
37.
So Facebook may be around then, I'm not sure, but I mean, we're living Facebook now. I mean, social media, and you too could have gone in hiding when you've gone through your chemotherapy. You guys could have just said, "Screw this, I'm gone, and when I'm better, I'll come back." No,
right.
you let us know and all your friends know what you're going through, and that's bravo, brave. That's very brave
Yeah.
of you ladies. And I'm glad you mentioned
Yeah.
the group. I want any of your classmates who may be going through this, and have not announced it, reach out to these ladies. PM,
Yes,
do
please.
a
Yes.
group PM. Maybe I don't
Hey,
know.
did Crystal Gaylor did Crystal Gaylor have cancer?
I think
Yes,
so.
Do we know,
she
Lisa?
did. Yeah, she did. She did.
She did.
Yes, she has, and of course, and we've lost a few, because of cancer. But again, I challenge you classmates, reach out to these brave ladies here, and let them give you encouragement, or and let them help. I strongly
Yeah,
strongly suggest this.
I think we have for
Belinda's
Survivor.
daughter,
Yeah.
her oldest daughter. Yeah, she had it,
Oh, okay.
and that gave me encouragement and strength. What going and reading her blogs, and kind of going through her journey as well with her. Of course, she had it a year or so before I did, but I still got to go back and read her blogs and stuff, and kind of get an idea of what to expect. So nothing really would catch me off guard. But I mean, it's your own battle. You go through it in your own way. But I looked at her as a survival, and I thought, that I'm gonna survive this as well. So, and then I
Good.
got,
Great mentality.
And you are, and you guys are.
Can you see this? This is my friend. My friend.
Aw.
So, pretty cute.
Girls, thank you for answering that question. One of the things that when I have two clients that have cancer, and one's in stage 4, it's metastatic, and she'll have chemo until she's not here. And so one of the things that I've learned to ask people is how can I be of service to you? Because I find that when you ask people, when you're sick, you don't want to feel like you're needy, and you don't want people to perceive you as being needy. So when somebody says, what do you need? You say, oh, nothing, I'm okay, right? But to ask somebody, how can I be of service to you, doesn't make that person feel needy. And I have found that is a really good gateway question, and people are more apt to answer it honestly or authentically and say, oh gosh, I hadn't thought about it like that, but could you do this, or I need this? And it's like, yes, please. And I think those of us that are survivors have a huge responsibility, to help in any way that we can, whether it's a talk like this, where it's a public service announcement, your cancer groups, your volunteerism, and being vulnerable to share these journeys with people, so that they don't feel that they're alone, that they're not the only ones that are dum-dums like me and didn't tell anybody and sucked it up and did it by myself.
Everybody's journeys, your own. People handle it the way they do.
Brave.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Everyone is brave.
Absolutely.
So
that's for sure.
Well, we're going to start No. Is there anything before we close our show tonight? Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your cancer experience, or about Plainview, or anything about something fun or funny about your class?
I want to share something real quick. MyLinda, do you recall or remember Danny Perez and I went up to your home? I think it was high school. I don't know how, we probably invited ourselves there, but we went and hung out with you. And then, and I remember that we got a hold of a phone book, and I remember the phone book, and we just started prank calling people. Danny and I did. But,
oh my God.
So I don't remember, did we do anything that night?
You guys were so fun. And you were, so
That's
that was my
question.
I think that was my high school directory, right? Because they used to have telephone directories.
Yeah,
and you guys just kind of randomly just call girls' names out of the directory. And Danny was telling me, y'all were telling me stories the next day, and Danny said something like, I called this one girl and she said, who is this? And he said, you know who this is? And she said, oh, it's you. So he was having this big long conversation with her, and she totally thought it was like maybe her admirer or something. And you guys were just going on and laughing and
That's
just, oh,
funny.
yeah. My mom was not as happy,
We did
but
some crazy stuff.
they did.
Crazy
Y'all
stuff.
did. So you went
And we
down the list. I
survived.
never told them who it was, but it was hilarious. You did.
I
do
think
that.
we had to leave the next day. Put it
You
that
did.
way. So
I
yeah,
think you
so
were- Back road.
ladies, anything,
On the
any
back
story to
road.
share about Plainview?
Oh
It's
gosh.
changing. It's changed. It was so heartbreaking to see Lakeside tore down. And then to hear the other day where that Booker T. Washington, it burnt down.
Oh, I didn't
So,
hear
and
about
that's all-
that.
Yeah, neither did I. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's a big fire, and I guess I don't know if it consumed the whole school, but it looked like a pretty big fire. So we've lost that school as well. They said
Was
it was
it
vacant anyway, but still, that's
Okay.
beside the point.
Yes. What
Booker
about you,
T.
Melinda?
Washington, that
I mean, you were
So,
seventh grade, but
yeah.
go ahead.
I was in there, like, I remember going to Thunderbird. So I think I lived in Plainview from like first grade through seventh grade. So I was there for quite a while. We moved around as a lot of people do. But so I have this kind of bittersweetness with Plainview because it was hard, for my family. It was a hard time. Lots of survival and poverty and, lots of things happened there. But I have to say that as I've grown older, I look back on it and I'm really loving the memories that are coming to me. So just actually not too long ago, recently, I was thinking about the Howards, Sue Howard and David Howard, and how wonderful they were. He was they were both great teachers, and they were just all about us kids. They were just wonderful teachers that were just so wanted to light us on fire about learning. And I was really inspired with them. And I remembered the doctor that was like the town doctor. What was his name? I forget. I think he recently passed away.
Well, there's
Dr.
Dr. Siegler.
Dr.
Yeah.
Dr. Siegler.
Yeah. And how they served the
one way.
community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody went to him.
Yeah,
No.
I went. Of course, I only went when it was really bad, and he was like, "You should have brought her sooner." But that's when we went. So I'm going to say, at times it's bittersweet for me, but now I'm just remembering the sweet, and I'm remembering these amazing spirits that chose to spend their time there, like Mr. Howard and Mrs. Howard. They were going to Wayland Baptist University. They were going to school there, and they decided to stay there and serve the community. And I didn't. At the time, because I'm little, I didn't understand that, but now I'm looking back on it going, wow, they just really they fell in love with it and they stayed there, and the doctor served us. So there were just these wonderful beings that I can remember, my lights, and kind of, it was a challenging time for me. It really was, and my whole family, but they were there, and I know they influenced me to keep learning and to keep growing and to see a model of what the potential is. The band teachers, they were just like, Plainview is so great at band and marching band, and they just have such a rich history. And so the teachers that came and they taught because they love music. So what I'm saying, all these people had in common is they loved what they did, and they created a service, a means to give back. And I know that had to influence me on many, many levels, especially at a really hard time in my life when I was looking for things like that. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking about that today. Like, what do I remember most? And those sweet, wonderful memories came back. So that to me is invaluable. That's just like, that's the fabric of our country. That's the fabric of all human kindness and human goodness. And so I was really happy to have those to hold on to. And I hope that I remember more and more as we go. And if we do, I'll be sure and post them because I love keeping those memories alive.
Well,
do y'all remember
wonderful.
that? Do y'all remember the ambulance that used to look like a hearse?
Oh,
No, it
no.
it was
Oh,
before.
Lord.
It's before the fire department took over IMSA. Yeah, I mean, it was a big long station wagon. It had clear windows and it had the red little single light on top. And it was,
Wow.
yeah, I want to say he lived over there in the area where Eddie Skaggs used to live. I don't know. Maybe I've got the streets wrong, but yeah, it looked like an oversized station wagon. That was our ambulance driver. That's
Oh my gosh.
That's a good story. Yeah, I don't remember that one. Well, ladies, as Lisa mentioned, thank you.
You don't?
I mean, thank you for coming on and
You're welcome.
and sharing what you've gone through and encouraging, you know, of not just the classes, but everyone around you to continue to go to your, you know, check your mammograms, go to your annual checkups, and I mean, bravo. Thank you. Lisa, do you have anything to say?
No, I'm just so thrilled to get to visit with y'all tonight. And Wendy, it was awesome to get to see you in person. And Melinda, I was so bummed you broke your leg.
I was ready to give y'all a big hug.
I'm ready for
I know.
I'm ready for another reunion. Reunion.
Well,
I really am.
we're gonna
And
do
I think
something.
this time.
In April, Wendy,
ahead.
you're gonna have to come to Dallas. We're gonna have a get together in Dallas.
You're what, 2-3 hours
really?
away? Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
gonna be a
So
one night thing. So
just a one-night thing. We're gonna it's at a bar, restaurant that can accommodate a large group, and it's just come. You know, you buy your own drinks. It's just come and gather. If you came to the reunion or didn't come to the reunion, whatever, just come to hang out with us. And we may even do a live.
Send me the information.
Yeah, we will. We're going to post it on our Facebook, on the Facebook page. Yeah, and Michael and I may be doing a live show at that event.
And Lisa, I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to do a live show Friday. I figured it out, I believe. So bear with us. You know, this is something new, but hope you guys will watch us on Friday at around 7. We're going to be live. Also, Melinda and Wendy, I would like to have you guys again, maybe in October or September.
Oh, wonderful.
And
yes.
maybe we could do this annually. And and maybe more of our classmates will want to join us. So, and then Wendy, Fab Five. We need them soon.
Yes. Soon. I know.
And you guys don't have to be together.
Right. Yes. Oh no, we can do it like this. This is amazing.
Yes.
But like I said, Shelly, she's got a lot going on right now, so we're just kind of waiting for her to bounce back a little bit, and then we'll get on.
This may help her.
This is fun.
Wendy, this may help her with you and Dusty and Kathy and other. Yeah. I mean, it may help. But anyway, ladies,
you're gonna have to put in what do you call an exclaimer? You know, one of them rated.
Oh, a disclaimer.
You get us together and
an NC-17.
Disclaimer, yeah.
But just don't be
warning.
Yeah, if you ain't 17.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is an adult show. And when I post to YouTube, you ask a question. Is it safe for kids? No. It's not.
No.
But ladies, continue.
Anyway, thank you.
Love you guys. Peace and love. Peace and love. And
I love y'all too.
Encourage other people to be on our show.
Love you, Lisa.
Love you guys.
Love y'all. Love you.
Lots of love. Take care.
Bye.
Namaste, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Melinda.
Take care. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, Wendy.
Bye-bye.
Wow. It's just wow.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, like I said, cancer is a son of a bitch. And
it's a son of a bitch. Yeah.
And you three hopefully will entice our classmates who have not gone out. And as you mentioned, males do, you know, get your ass to the doctor, you know what, and find out what's wrong with you. You know, like get it at an early stage. Don't wait
Yes.
when it's too damn late. And I mean, you've got loved ones and around that want to see you to continue to live a long life. So, what are your thoughts, Lisa?
Yes, I agree. You know, like I've said, I started saying this when I posted the very first video for our reunion. You know, life is short. If anything, the last 4 years have taught us is life is short. It's precious. We need to look at everything that is wonderful and beautiful in this world and focus on positivity and supporting each other and loving each other and being there for each other. And part of that is taking care of yourself. Love starts here, right here.
Here
Because
and up
you
here
don't,
too, right?
yes, but you've got to love yourself. You've got to love yourself enough to do the right things for you and for your family and your loved ones. You have to love yourself. You know, we're here on this earth to learn how to love ourselves and give ourselves grace and forgiveness and take absolutely great care of yourself, please. Because we want to see you at our 50th reunion.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, Michael, thank you so much again for this brainchild of yours that's morphing into something really wonderful. And I'm so honored to be your co-host and to get to spend this time with you. It's super sacred to me. I love you to the moon. You're my brother from another mother, and I'm just super grateful to you.
I can say the same thing, Lisa. I love you and can't wait to see you in April and also in May, which I've got someone's permission to make an announcement and our live show on Friday night. So absolutely. But anyway, have a good evening and until next
All
time,
right.
peace and love. Peace and love.